The man that you're about to hear speak is 29 years old, and he is referring to events that happened as many as 15 and 16 years ago. And I strongly believe that he is Asperger or highly functional autistic. I did have a cousin very young. He had Asperger's, and when we talked, he'd never look at me in the face if he would even acknowledge that I was alive. But now he is 90% out of that, very intelligent, very productive, and actually much higher achiever than myself. So as far as reading body language, I want you to pay very close attention to when he stares the camera right in the eye and the words that are coming out of his mouth when he says it. As an Asperger's person or a person with autism, for them to be able to make that to making a connection. When they make eye contact, they're trying to make a connection with you. Very important note. Michael Pence tries to force, in a couple times in this story, people to kill other people. If you are a redheaded step family member, you are privy to other channels, and you've already heard that is the initiation into the Satanic Church, and it is the evidence that they will videotape to hold over your head if you ever try to turn against the Satanic Church. Sinless is a satanic term that indicates that they can do anything without sin, just like anything in nature. So they can kill without sin, just like one bear can kill another bear, whether it be for survival or for mating purposes, that there is no sin. And that is their problem with Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, he's the bad guy because he declared that you're human, you're above nature, and your conscious self will alarm you when you commit sin. Therefore, you are responsible for that sin.
Our two guests is David. David is a human trafficking survivor, 29 years old, and Steve is his colleague who's been chronicling this journey for the last 3 years.
Hi, I'm David. I am a survivor of human trafficking, as well as a writer and a horse trainer and many other things. The life that I have lived, I would not wish it on my worst enemy. But it's really opened my eyes, and I hope what I share opens anyone's eyes that listens, and that they know that this is out there, that this happened, and it happened to me. It can happen to you too. And it's still happening as we speak to other people. So me and my mom, we helped run a ranch called Hope Equestrian, and it was for autistic children. And we tried to build up lives, not tear them down. A man named Jeremy Haskell came into the Rogue Valley as a youth pastor. And it was around about February the 12th, 2006. He brought a man named Michael Pence to Hope Equestrian. Now, I had no idea that that was Michael Pence at the time. You just saw him from afar, right? And that was the first moment where things started to look slightly different at our ranch. Our clientele became richer, and pretty soon there were bodyguards that started showing up with these people escorting their autistic children on the ranch. My mom asked questions. This went on for about 5 months. And then I became sick with a very aggressive virus that took out a lot of people in the valley. And then we would have another meeting, and Michael Pence showed up again. This time, he would recruit me and several other kids to go overseas for what Jeremy Haskell called missions camp. And I'll never forget where Michael and I actually officially met. It happened at Boxar Ranch in Ashland, Oregon, Green Springs. It's a little suburb out of Ashland. I wouldn't kill someone because our orders were to kill someone. It was a U.S. soldier. I wouldn't do it because I'm Christian. This wasn't what I signed up for. It was supposed to be a church camp. Then Michael Pence came up to me and he goes, "You do it." And I said, "No." So Michael Pence choked me and threw me on the ground and then kicked me in the stomach. My dear friend Christian at the time came in, and Michael Pence threw him down a hill. So there's a little hill, and he fell into the little river right there in back of the ranch. As a consequence of me not doing what Mike said, I ended up in a coffin. And he locked the coffin, and I was there for about 9 hours, listening to the man sadistically laugh. And that's what he did to people that didn't do what he wanted. I heard a gunshot, and I knew that someone died. I don't know who died that day. I made it out, and then Michael and I had a confrontation when I made it out. And he fought me and many other kids. And then I became severely injured because of what he did to me. So I came back from that camp very injured. I had to go to the hospital, and my mom wanted answers. And then Michael came to our doorstep, and my mom confronted him and said, "What happened to my son?" And he wouldn't answer. So she went to the church board. At the time was Ashland Christian Fellowship. And Jeremy Haskell came up to my mom, and he goes, "You don't want to ask questions." And Michael was present, and Jeremy threw her on the floor, and she broke her whole entire hand because of how hard she was thrown. She went to the hospital. She was hospitalized for 4 days. And of course, physical therapy lasted for about 9 months. I was always told it was my fault, actually, by Jeremy Haskell, to this day, actually, because I didn't mind the orders I was given. But it didn't stop there. After he knew that I spoke out, and my mom, Jeremy came to me, and he said, "Dude, you don't want to do this. You don't want this, We're just having a good time, right? I got some girls over. They're 9 years old. They're 7 years old, just having a good time. Nothing wrong with it. A little beer here." And I said, "No." So he grabbed this beer bottle and he broke it on my back. And I fell on the floor. And then he took a bat and he beat me in the knees. And then Michael Pence came in to Jeremy Haskell's house. And he said, "I just wanted to make sure that your mom knows that it was very unfortunate what happened to her. And the church believes in correction. And this is the correction. And I hope that you understand that going forward. No one leaves the church."
David, can you explain what correction is?
Correction is when you leave the church and or do something wrong in the church's eyes. So later on, these churches will cut you off of Facebook. They'll control your social media. They'll control your bank accounts. And if you do something behind their back, Jeremy Haskell is a great example. Lee Gregory is another one. They will beat down your door, grab a bat, and they will beat you up until you agree. Whether that's trafficking your kid, and you say no, okay, fine, I'm going to break your legs, and then I'm going to traffic your kid. And if you say no still, I'm going to slaughter your husband in front of you. So correction is the word, you do something wrong, I'm going to mess you up. And he uses, if I may, he uses the church to this day to traffic in the name of Jesus. And he believes, and this is his philosophy, that he's sinless and he can get away with anything and everything. So I'll make it brief, but after that, our ranch basically got taken over. We were forced to leave. Mm-hmm. We had gunmen coming in. We had military coming in. This shouldn't be legal. So, of course, we called the police. That didn't do real good. The police showed up and said, bye. And we were on our own. And I think we feared for our lives because eventually, they shot the dogs, they shot the horses. At one point, they shot the window. I heard people scream in our house, and I don't know what they did. But there was this one time that I will bring up that Michael Pence forced me and my mom to do something. And to this day, I do not know why. He held my mom at gunpoint in our trailer. And he said, I want you to torture Sarah D. And me and my mom were like, why are you doing this? This is our ranch. This is our home. And, you couldn't get anywhere, right? You're in the middle of a country. You can't get anywhere. And so we went into this room, and I'll never forget it. He gave my mom a gun. And he said, I want you to find out what she knows about the United States government. And my mom's like, you want me to what? And so we went in this room, which was our old bedroom, and he turned it into a kind of, it's one of those, what is it? An interrogation room, basically, is what he turned it into. And this lady is chained up in our chair, and she's just this pregnant mom. And my mom goes, I'm sorry, what do you know about the United States government? And she goes, that man runs a military shadow initiative. He's a terrorist. He was part of 9/11. And my mom goes, yeah, he's taken over my house. You're here, and this shouldn't be legal. And then Michael Pence comes in and said, that's not what I asked you to ask. And my mom goes, yeah, what are you going to do about it? So he pushed her against the wall, choked her right here, punched her right here, knocked her tooth out, and then threw her onto the ground. Then he took the lady that was pregnant, and she was cuffed to the chair, and he broke her hand. And I remember the scream. And I'll never forget it. I was so scared. And I ran to my mom's side, and my mom said, we gotta go. I don't care if we can't ever tell this story. No one would ever believe it because this isn't supposed to happen to Americans. We're in America, not Russia. And we left, and we were chased by Secret Service vehicles. There was a black helicopter, and this person tried firing on us, and we were taking old Route 66 out, and it hit the car, and the bullet actually hit the tire, so we got a big flat tire as we tried to run, and we were forced back. That was the first attempt of leaving the ranch. The second day, my mom didn't give up. She rented a car. This time, we got pretty far, and then we got pulled over by Secret Service and police roadblocking the main freeway of Interstate 5. And they forced us and escorted us back to our ranch. The third time, finally, we got away. And my mom was very strategic. She knew a friend. I'm not going to say the friend's name because there still could be a witness today to this. And we got in their van, and they went about 120 miles an hour, no joke. And they didn't stop until we were out of the state of Oregon. And then we got away.
Never mind that we had one bad dude, Manny Pence, who was a state governor at the time. But that's where we have found in the United States the best prospect of finding honest government officials at a level high enough to be able to do something.
I found out he was going to be in Dallas. And I don't want any anger in my heart or any unforgiveness because of being a Christian. So me and Steve confronted him so I could forgive him. And that happened at the Dallas Homeschool Convention in Texas. And ahead of time, you know, I was shaking. I was like, oh, God, is this the right thing? Yes, it's the right thing to do. And I told people, hey, I'm a survivor of human trafficking, and that is my trafficker. And I'm here to forgive him. Little did I know the entire convention would watch as I went up to him. And I led with a few things as I went up to him. And I did mention Michael Pence to him. But I led with this. You hurt me, you broke me, but you didn't shatter me. And you didn't shatter the other kids either. You silenced them, but they still want to talk. And his mouth dropped. And I said, you slaughtered kids, you've taken them, but you're going to answer. And I forgive you, I don't forget you. You've caused me pain more than you will ever know. May God have mercy on you. As I did that, he wanted to hit me, the evil in his eyes. And it led into a 30-minute conversation, which I actually recorded. And I've been contacted by deans from different schools that were there at that convention that were shell-shocked that I confronted him. And he said 3 things that are very important to this interview. Yes, I took you. Yes, I killed someone. And I always get away with it. In the year 2008, on one of these missions, Michael Pence helped slaughter a child. His name was Tristan. And it happened on Harris Beach. But he did it because he was sinless. So he felt no guilt. These people have no guilt whatsoever. As someone that has escaped, you know, it's been eye-opening watching this evil just rise out of nowhere. You know, one day you're on your ranch and you have this normal life, and then everything's gone and you're starting over. And to anyone listening, to anyone watching, you know, it can happen to you. These people target anybody. There's no special list of, oh, I'm going to stay away from this person and that person. No, they'll target anybody.
Well, and the scale here, I think you mentioned something about numbers. In the Bethel system, I saw a couple of maps. I had access to at time for a program that would locate churches anywhere I wanted to. And my estimate at that time was they had about 2,500 churches in their system. Figure, say, 400 people associated with each church. That's 10 million people. That's a lot of folks, guys.
They target military. So
yes,
you mentioned that our feds are corrupt. Well, we're going to say one thing here. All these churches try to be built by a military base. And at first it doesn't dawn on you, right? You're like, why is everybody in uniform at church? And then you listen. Oh, well, you know, we got all the military and we go on the military bases, by the way. And we're friends with the military lieutenant here and the nuclear engineer over there and FBI over there. Oh, yeah, we know the Secret Service guy over there. Oh, yeah, we know him. We know him. And if your viewers want to look up Chris Hopper and how they do that, Chris Hopper was so stupid because he's sinless that in the year that my ranch was taken over, there's a link on his website. It's called Chris Hopper WordPress or New Life Church Chris Hopper. And if you click where it says ministries and it's called F Tour, which was the nickname for what happened to my ranch, it's a child porn site. And he's in the porn site with other kids. But no one will take it down because he's sinless. Don't touch it. Don't do it. So one thing to look out for is churches that are near federal authorities, whether that's FBI, police station, border patrol, immigration, Coast Guard. That's what they've chosen to target. How do you take over the United States of America? Easy. So Mike Pence wants to just become dictator, period. I wouldn't just say Russia. I would say China, Russia, United States, everywhere. He basically wants to become king, right? Like he doesn't want to be a president. He wants dominant power. He's all about that, actually. He thinks he's like a god that can't be touched. So how to answer that is, I've never met someone so evil in my life, except for him. Second is Brian Davis. Third is Jeremy Haskell. And then there's a list from there. But those are my top three that are the top evil I've ever seen in my life. And all he wants is power.
Got it. And Brian Davis, just for the audience, was the trafficker you confronted at the Dallas church or
Yes.
convention, a few days ago, correct?
Yes.
And he's a Christian author as well.
Yes, he is.
And that's some of the cover they use, right? The devil or the wolf in sheep's clothing, right?
And to be alert that there is a shadow war going on, and not a lot of people are aware that that shadow war is still here. It didn't go away. It just got worse.
Is read headlines. And I'll mention the newspapers for the past 5 days in human trafficking. Let's start off with the Gateway Pundit yesterday, May 3rd. Dave Hunt, a Democrat former Oregon speaker and current board member at Clackamas Community College, has been arrested by Portland police as a part of an undercover sex trafficking sting operation. By the way, Mr. Hunt actually voted to have this law in place, which he got arrested by. How interesting. Russia Times, May 3rd also. Most severe sexual abuse. German police bust darknet child porn platform boasting 400,000 users worldwide. Yesterday, Epoch Times, May 3rd. Captain of suspected human smuggling boat in custody after boat overturns. That was the submarine/boat off of California a few days ago that 4 died and 25 survived human trafficking. Last Friday, April 30th, Houston, multiple sources. Last week, arrest of dozens of traffickers freeing 96 human trafficking victims.
If the public is aware, it's the only way to defeat this is make sure everybody is aware that this is happening. It can happen in their community. Mm-hmm. I'm from a sleepy little town in the Northern Plains. I won't say where. And there's one church in that little town that at one point said Assembly of God. It was there when I was growing up. Then I was out there about 4 years ago and I said, letters on said Bethel Assembly of God. And a couple years later, there's Bethel in 8-foot high letters, Assembly of God. And that church now is full out Bethel, and they're messing with some stuff beside. I don't know if they do trafficking or not. We have word that they're doing other things that churches aren't supposed to do.
Be a voice for those that have been silenced. See something, say something, do something. Don't just sit there and pray. Do something.
And if you don't have a way to contribute, visit the Red Pill Tea Shop. I've got over 12 designs at $17. And for seeding the truth and making people think, I recommend Backprint. That way you are a billboard and no one has to look you in the eyes and try and figure out who you voted for. You just plaster the thought in front of them while they stand behind you in line. Every design is offered in a back print, front print, and sometimes double print. Go have fun, look around, and see what sparks you, because it will spark others.